There's been a lot of talk about the recall going around for Teslas, specifically due to their full self-driving capability. Now, I personally do not have full self-driving. I have two Model Ys. One is a performance, which has the basic autopilot, and I also have a long-range version that has the enhanced autopilot. I typically drive around in the performance version, so I only have basic autopilot, which does lane centering, adaptive cruise control, really simple things like that. But it's interesting to me to hear about the recall just because now it's supposed to make sure that the full self-driving is more strict, it's more aware, it's making sure that you keep your hands on the wheel so many often, it's tracking your eyes, make sure you're looking at the road, and after a certain amount of times it's supposed to shut off. And if it shuts off 5 times, you no longer have access to the full self-driving. So after all the hoopla and everything I've been hearing about, I decided I had to try for myself, right? So I went and got a month subscription for $200, crazy amount. Month subscription for $200 for full self-driving on my Model Y Performance. So this is gonna be my first time. I've never used full self-driving before myself. So I'm gonna make a little series with y'all just trying out full self-driving. I am out here in California, so I predict that it should be a little bit better than somewhere like a rural area or where Teslas aren't as common. I'm not going to start it right now though, because I am scary and I don't want to try it during the day. So we're going to have to wait till nighttime to try it out. But in the meantime, let me introduce you to my car. So this is my Model Y Performance 2023 Hardware 3. Her name is Merlot. Last time you saw her was in my video where I was driving across country from Georgia to California. And as you can see, she is no longer all white. So now I have this nice maroon type of burgundy wrap on her and windows tinted. So this is the car that I decided to put the full self-driving on just because it's the car that I use the most. Also, it doesn't have enhanced autopilot at all. So if I did decide that I want to cancel, I'll just go back to basic autopilot and I won't mess with anything on my long range car. But she's going to be our test dummy and I hope everything works out well. So when that sun sets, we'll be back. All right, y'all, I am back. Unfortunately, it is nighttime, but it's raining. So you know how I was talking about I was nervous before? We're gonna see. So I'm trying to get the whole setup for this. So I have 3 cameras going. I have one talking to you guys, I have one on the road, and I have a GoPro up here recording the whole cabin. So hopefully that helps you guys see exactly what I'm doing, what I have going on. So again, I'm here. This is my first time with full self-driving. I don't know what to expect. You know, the whole reason why I wanted to do this is because there's a lot of hype and hoopla and over exaggeration about the recall because of autopilot. Again, I've only had basic autopilot before, so this is going to be a brand new experience for me. So my plan is, I'm at the supercharger right now. My plan is just to go down to the Tesla dealership, which is not too far from me, maybe like a 15-minute drive. It's 12:30 in the morning. Hopefully roads are clear, not too much traffic. Again, it was raining earlier, so the roads are probably going to be a little wet. So that's going to be interesting to see, but I'm excited. First, I want to see, you know, is it more strict? I know personally I've seen it with basic autopilot where it'll have you touch the wheel every so often, and usually I drive with one hand and it wants you to put 2 on and turn slightly. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what that is like, if it's more voracious with the autopilot or full self-driving on. So that's one thing I'm going to look at. And then just responsiveness as well. How quickly does it turn? Does the lane merge? Is it aggressive with it? So right now, let's just go over the full self-driving. So just to show you guys, I have full self-driving on. It's in the beta. I'm using the double pull. I know they sent that update where you can single pull now, but I'm just so used to double pull, and I prefer to have my cruise control on one pull. So full self-driving beta profile, I have it on average. Lane change notification chime, I definitely want to be alerted when I'm about to change lanes. I just don't want to start changing lanes because that's going to freak me out a little bit. Then I have automatic blind spot camera, definitely show me where we're going. Speed limit warning, I have display. And then I have a speed limit offset by 10 miles an hour. Just because I am in California, people tend to drive a little bit faster than the speed limit, so I don't want to be run off the road while I am in autopilot. So, first thing first, let's buckle up. I'm going to put in the Tesla dealership. It's over in Long Beach. There we go. So, it's saying it's going to take me 17 minutes. Not bad. Obviously closed, but I'm here for the experience. So, see, I have my seatbelt on. Put this baby in drive, and let's go. All right, here we go. Oh, a nice little charger coming up next to me. You can go ahead, young man. Even though I have a Tesla, I do like ICE vehicles. I have appreciation for ICE vehicles. I own 2 ICE vehicles, so it's not like I'm all electric all the time, but just the curiosity and technology part of me is very impressed by electric vehicles and the capability they have. I think they still have some improvements to make. Specifically for me, I'm mostly worried about range. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. You guys aren't gonna be able to see me at all. So I might just have to cut this video out and focus on the 2 over here. All right, so once we get to the stoplight, I'm going to engage in full self-driving. So luckily the rain has stopped. The roads are still wet, but it makes me feel a little bit better now that it is not raining. Here we go. I just turned it on. This is my first experience with it. Let's see what we do. Ooh, smooth left turn. I'm gonna keep my hands on the wheel. My foot hovering the brake just in case I have to take over. Yeah, so far, other than that left turn, it feels like, you know, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, except I'm on the street. One thing that's interesting though is when I paid for the subscription and agreed to it, they did send me an email that said that auto steer on city would be coming later this year. So I'm actually pretty happy that it is working right now, because I didn't know if that was going to work or not. Yeah, go ahead, young man. You could take that. I'm taking it slow and steady. Yeah, I didn't know if that was going to work or not. So that's good. Again, I'm in California, so I might have the advantage of it being a very heavy Tesla population on roads, that it is early to adopt auto steer on the road because it's just getting all that data from Tesla. So that's good. So we made 2 lane changes here, and they're pretty smooth. I think I would have made it the same way. One thing about what I learned when I was driving was they are always like, hey, don't change lanes too close or under a stoplight or stopped light. So they said that's where most accidents are prone to happen. So I like to change my lanes a little bit further away once I go through an intersection. But that was smooth. Indicated twice to get over. Yeah. So far, so good. You know, one thing I'm interested in, oh, I like that. Stopping for traffic light. Definitely appreciate that communication for sure. It helps me just be aware of what the car is doing. So even though it is full self-driving, I feel like I am informed about what is going to happen, what's not going to happen. So that's good right there. Another thing that I noticed immediately, and I kind of noticed it from the time that I downloaded Full Self-Driving, is the display map, like the actual map that shows the car and the road. Oh my goodness, with Full Self-Driving, it's so much better than without it. Like, this is so clear. You see the lanes on the road. You can see cars further out. Like, I can see we're coming up on a stoplight, on a traffic light on here. Like before, in the basic autopilot, enhanced autopilot, it looks more cartoonish. It's not as defined, and I also don't think it sees as far out. Like, I feel like this sees maybe 5, 6, 7 cars ahead, and in the basic version, maybe only 2, 3. Okay, hold on, now I'm nervous. So this is a right turn. Let me get my hands off the wheel. Okay, all right. And we immediately go into a lane change. No, it dinged for no reason. All right, got me, fooled me. That's okay. Okay, now we're going to a lane change. Here we go. You know, one thing that I just noticed that did happen was, you know, the Tesla is attempting a right turn, right? And for a right turn, you need to put a lot of lock in the wheel. So I know it expects me to keep my hands on the wheel, but I feel like if I do, that's gonna mess up the turn. So I just could take my hands off, let it turn, and continue to drive, and put my hands back on when it's straightforward. Even in that small instance that I was just letting it turn, because I took my hands off pretty early when it was just sizing up the turn, between me taking my hands off and turning, and then starting to go straight, it did give me the alert, like, hey, put some pressure on the wheel. So in that regard, I feel like it did get a little bit more strict. I feel like in the past, you could probably keep your hands off the wheel a bit longer. That's just in my experience. So definitely feels like they tightened up the restrictions a little bit more stringent. So I guess in that sense, you could say the update over the air recall fix is working. That's good. Let's continue to see. I'm more interested to see, you know, we're coming up in half a mile, merging on. Oh, see, there it goes again. So I have my hands on the wheel, and honestly, this is how I usually drive. I drive with one hand, right? But because this is new, I'm definitely doing the 3 and the 9 here. I can't risk it. But stopping for traffic light, I love that. I really do love that it communicates what it's doing. Like, obviously I can assume that it's going to stop for the traffic light, but I like that it gives me the warning. I feel it gradually stopping. It's using the regenerative braking, so it just makes me feel a lot better. Okay, here we go. This is where it's about to get real, y'all. Come on, brother. You gotta make your choice. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. All right. So that was a little funny. So it immediately went for the double lane change. Ooh. Oh, that was bumpy. I did not like that. We got on the ramp, but that whole exchange was a little off to me. I think that could use some improvement once we get merged safely onto the freeway. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Oh, okay, picked up a little speed here. It's looking to merge. Changing lanes to follow route. I like that. Going 65. Because it's raining and it's wet, I'm going to keep it at 65. Just better safe than sorry, you know. Try to stay in the right lane, stay in the slow lane. If people want to go around me, they can, but this is my first time using it. I'd rather just take all the precautions and be as proactive as possible to make sure that we get to our destination safely, right? And in the future, I'll do some more videos with like real world conditions, middle of the day, LA traffic, stop and go, longer trips, going 60 miles, see how it works, especially when we get into the more rural areas or places that are not as populated. I would love to see how it reacts. All right. So going back to the on-ramp situation, yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. The biggest thing was it was time to get in the left lane to merge, and the Tesla took a little long to get over. Like by the time it started to get or attempt to get into the left lane, we were already past the dash lines and we were going over the solid lines, which isn't terrible, but it's the fact that it decided to go straight from the middle lane to the leftmost lane. So it kind of merged over two lanes at once. And I mean, those are things that you would do as a human driver, so I can't complain about it too much because I know I've done it before, especially when I want to, get into the lane that has no cars or the fewer cars. So it's not a wrong move or a bad move, but I definitely feel like I would have liked it to just, especially because it merged so late, I would have preferred if it just stayed in the outer left lane and just got on the freeway that way. And then once we started to get on the ramp, it kind of accelerated a little bit mid-turn. So that kind of threw me off because I did take my hands off the wheel, so I didn't mess with any type of calibration or anything like that. So that's it. Nothing like bad, but yes. I also was just about to comment, whoa! Okay, that's not what I was expecting. All right. So I thought, because I'm looking at the road right now, and I'm not looking at the map per se. I thought when the indicator came on, it was going to go right. Like I thought it was going to get back over in the slow lane because we were in the fast lane. We're only going the speed limit. People were passing us up. So I thought it was going to say, hey, you know what? I recognize I'm getting passed. I recognize traffic is going faster than me. Let me go ahead and get in the slow lane. But instead, it got in the HOV lane, which is fine because it is a clean air vehicle. We have the details. Even though it's just me in here, I can be in the HOV lane. But what's interesting to me is I know in the past, when I've been in the HOV lane and I'm near a median that is stone specifically, or a concrete wall type of median, when there's not a lot of space between the median and the yellow line, autopilot deactivates. And it makes me nervous because sometimes the wall gets real close and it starts to tend towards the wall, and then it like snaps out of it and I have to snap the wheel away. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know if this is the closest I've ever seen the median, but I know driving down this road before, there are bits and pieces of it that do feel very close to the car. So it's going to be interesting to see how full self-driving deals with that. How will it, or how will it not, see that a wall is getting super close and then kind of snap out of it? Will it just completely disengage? Will it swerve out the way? I know it's supposed to have item recognition or obstacle recognition, so that would be interesting to see. Does it see the wall as an obstacle and it goes around it? Or, because right now, looking at the screen, it looks like the median is real flat. So does it pick up the parts that jet out a little bit? Does it pick up the parts that are protruding more than the rest of the surface? That's going to be interesting to see. Other than that, excuse me. Other than that, I feel like this drive has been pretty smooth. We're 4 minutes away from our destination. Oh, good lane change. This is going to be interesting because we do have to get over, and I might have to prod it some because I'd rather get over now rather than later, because we are in the fast lane and cars will come very fast down this lane, and I don't want it to wait till the last minute to try to get over. So I know with enhanced autopilot we can
do automatic lane changes by hitting the indicator. I wonder if we can do that here. So I'm gonna try it. So I'm gonna hit the indicator. Oh, wow. Before I could hit the indicator, it started to change lanes. I don't know if it heard me. I don't know if it's listening, but that was pretty interesting. Right when I was about to hit the indicator, it changed lanes. All right, so let's do this again. Whoa. I'm gonna cancel that one. For some reason, it wanted to go back into the left lane. Maybe it's because he thinks this guy's going too slow and is gonna try to pass him up, but yeah, definitely said trying to merge into the faster lane, which is okay, but I feel like it's gonna be a tall task. There we go. Now we're going to the right. Definitely would prefer to go to the right rather than the left. Anyways, I feel like it would have been a tall task for it to try to get around this car using the left lane, merge back into the lane it originated from, and then get ready to get over to exit. So, decision making wise, still needs some improvement. I don't think it's horrible. I'm gonna turn on turn it up the air. Usually I use auto, so. I got it to 70 here. Yeah, the lane was fogging up a little bit. The mirrors are fogging up. I'm just gonna turn that on. So while I was doing that, you see it did this weird back and forth thing in the lane, like went to the left lane, went back to the right lane, went to the left lane. Don't know why that was necessary. There was nothing in front of me. I don't know if it was seeing something that I didn't or what, but yeah, that one was, this is probably instance number 2 that was a little off for me. And here we go again. We missed our exit. We missed our exit. It's too late. It's too late, Tesla. It's too late. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Maybe we didn't miss our exit. What was that? We knew we had to get off, and it's moving us from our lane to the left lane, back to our lane. You guys tell me in the comments, did we miss our exit, or was I just jumping the gun? All right. Braking kind of hard to get over to the right lane. We made it safely. If there are other cars on the road, I don't know about that move. Once again, this is why I'm doing it late at night, because I don't know how it will react. Turn that air down some. Okay, here we go, big right turn. There is a cart in the way. Successfully navigated that. All right, so we are approaching our destination. Once again, it's saying apply. I got my hands on the wheel. What more do you want? Okay, we are approaching the Tesla dealership here. Okay, that did not feel good. So the last bit of the drive here, I'm gonna turn into this parking lot while I talk to y'all. The last bit of the drive was a little less than desirable. Let's back it up a little bit. All right. We made it to the Tesla dealership safely, thank the Lord. We do need to go charge. So I am actually going to drive back to the charger, and I am going to set full self-driving on again to see if it can get me back there. But before I do that, what was going on in the last part of the drive? That was super strange. Like, okay, I understand when you're about to approach an exit, you have to get over to get on the exit. But it, for some reason, was drawing me away from the exit through its lane changes. And then it was, ping-ponging back between lanes. And then finally it decided, all right, you know what? Let me get to the rightmost lane. And I almost feel like we missed our original exit. And it just kind of rerouted us to the next exit because it was so far away. But yeah, I didn't enjoy that. So I think those are those are the two things so far in my first drive that I could say for sure I did not enjoy. One, getting on that first ramp was a little rough. And then two, the lane maneuvering, especially when I'm going the speed limit and other cars are going by me. I don't want to be in the fast lane. I don't want to be in the leftmost lane because that's just asking for trouble, especially when you're not in full control of the car. Other than that, I think it was fine. I think it was pretty smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate back to the charger, back to our starting point. I wonder if I could activate full self-driving from this parking lot. Like if I say, hey, go from park and bring me there, will it work? Let's see. Because this is what it's all about. It's showing me turns, like it's going to make a turn. So here we go. Ooh, it's a little jerky, but it's moving. Okay. All right. The journey back. Creeping forward for visibility. Uh-oh. Better go, brother. Wow. That I'm not gonna lie. That might have been the scariest one for sure, because there was a F-350 heading our way and it's still slowly creeping forward for visibility. And then it kind of just, it's a performance, so it could take off if it needs to, but it picked up fairly quickly and then started making its way to the left lane. I don't know, my heart kind of started beating a little fast there, y'all. I don't know, made me a little nervous. This definitely, I don't know, it's definitely potential here. It's way more advanced than I would think. Am I gonna have to beat this guy? There we go. That's the other thing about the Tesla horn. I don't use my horn a bunch, but when I do, I want to be able to just smack it one time and go. For some reason, when I press this horn, I feel like I get some resistance. Like it doesn't want to be pressed. Like it doesn't want to do its job. And I don't appreciate that. All right, so I got my hands on the steering wheel. This one was a lot smoother of a on-ramp, but again, the first time we were turning left onto the ramp, this time we're turning right onto the ramp, so a little bit more natural per se, or an easier transition. All right, brother, hold on. Why are you speeding up? Uh-oh. I think my GoPro just died. Yikes. Well, friends, my GoPro just died. It's all right. Don't know why it died. Maybe just out of battery. But I will say that last on-ramp where it was speeding up around the curve, did not enjoy that. Did not enjoy that at all. But since the GoPro died, I'm gonna wrap it up here. When I get to the charger, I'm gonna give some final thoughts, and then that'll be it. See ya. All right, y'all. We made it to the charger. Unfortunately, on the way there, the GoPro died, so I wasn't able to capture the footage, and I decided ultimately not to use full self-driving because I would want y'all to see my honest reactions, and if anything arised or happened, I'd want y'all to be privy to that. So I decided not to record. Instead, I'm just going to give my final thoughts on the drive from the supercharger over to the Tesla dealership. Overall, I mean, for my first time using full self-driving, I think it wasn't terrible, you know, but it's also in consideration that I did purposely go late at night so that I wouldn't have to be on the road with a bunch of other cars. And then the only thing working against it was the fact that the roads were wet. It wasn't raining anymore, like it wasn't actively raining. And I know that could be a factor sometimes, just because even when I had basic autopilot, if it was raining or if it was inclement weather, it would say some cameras weren't working. And I know in certain instances, it will lower the speed that you can go. So even if I said, hey, go the speed limit, it might say, hey, I'm lowering my top speed because of weather conditions. So that's something that could have affected it, but didn't really too much because it wasn't actively raining anymore, which is good. But yeah, I think the big two things that you guys saw were coming onto the on-ramp, taking that first left onto the on-ramp. That's the one. Actually, three big things. The second one was leaving the Tesla dealership, trying to get out of the road. There was oncoming traffic, a big F-350 heading our way, and it was inching forward to try to get the visibility, and then decide just to jump out in front of the truck and get over to the leftmost lane. Luckily, we made it, you know, but I feel like if I felt it was too close for comfort, I would have hit the brakes and took over control. But that one was a little sketchy. And then the last one was getting back onto the ramp to get on the highway. Even though the entrance was smooth, taking that right turn and getting onto the ramp wasn't bad. It was the turn after that. Immediately after that, we had a kind of deep left curving on ramp, and it started to speed up for some reason, unbeknownst to me. No apparent reason, just started to speed up, and then the GoPro died. So I think that was my hint to cut it. Enough full self-driving for the day. But I will not be done with these videos. I'm going to continue trying it in different scenarios. Eventually, I'm going to work my way up to, you know, middle of the day, rush hour traffic, going through the middle of the city, how good it is, you know. Not there yet. You know, this trip helped me build a little bit of confidence in the system, but I'm not willing to put my complete trust in it in terms of getting into the middle of LA, driving around during crazy times. So, but we're going to keep testing it. We're going to see how well it does in cities, how well it does on highways. If it can bring us completely from point A to point B, how far of a distance can it cover? Like, would it be able to do the entire battery pack? Does it cut off after, you know, an hour, 2 hours? Does it depend where we go? Let's say I want to go to Las Vegas. Can full self-driving take me all the way to Vegas? Who knows? We'll see. But that's a test for another video. Appreciate y'all watching. Comment below if you have any questions. If you have any suggestions for me, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.